If you're in the B2B world, you know there's a huge difference between a client who sees you as just another vendor and one who truly sees you as a partner. Today, we're going to break down the architecture of that partnership, how you can actually build it, how you can scale it, and how you can make your business absolutely indispensable. Let's dive in.
Wow, this quote just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? If your entire client relationship lives and dies by a price point and a monthly invoice, you're not managing a partnership. You're just a line item on a spreadsheet. And you know, in a world of tightening budgets, that makes you disposable.
So, it's really worth taking a second to ask yourself, which side of this line do most of your client relationships fall on? Seriously, the answer to that question tells you whether your business is built on a solid foundation or on quicksand. So let's look at the framework for building that foundation.
This is what we call the vendor trap. It's this low-trust, purely reactive world. You're judged entirely on your price and your speed. And because there's no real strategic connection, a client is going to leave the second a competitor comes along with a 10% discount. It's a race to the bottom, and nobody wins that race.
But here's the good news. There is a clear path out of that trap. It's called the CRM value chain, and you can think of it like a ladder that allows you to climb from being a simple order taker all the way up to an irreplaceable, trusted advisor.
Understanding this progression is absolutely key. See, most relationships start at that transactional level. You're an order taker. Moving up to functional is definitely better. You're reliable, you do good work, but you're still seen as an external tool. The real goal, the place you want to be, is strategic. As a trusted advisor, you're not just reacting to their problems anymore. You're proactively identifying future challenges and opportunities for them. And that is where you become indispensable.
And that's really the core idea here. A true partnership doesn't just happen by accident. It has to be architected. It is deliberately built on a foundation of trust and shared intelligence. So the question is, how do we start laying that bedrock?
Well, it all starts with trust, and we're going to look at two foundational elements here. First, understanding the real bottom-line economic value of trust, and second, strategically mapping the key people inside your client's organization.
You know, in any low-trust relationship, you're constantly paying this hidden trust tax. And this isn't just a feeling, it's a real cost. It shows up as endless legal red tape, clients who have to double-check every single claim you make, and those constant micromanagement meetings that just drain your team's time. You end up spending way more time on defense than on delivery.
But here's the flip side, the trust dividend. When you move to a high-trust partnership, renewals and upsells close 40 to 60% faster. I mean, think about that. Why? It's because all that friction we talked about, it just evaporates. The need for all that expensive oversight and endless due diligence just shrinks dramatically.
So how do you actually build this trust? Think of it like a bank account, your trust equity. You make deposits through extreme reliability. It's as simple as doing what you say you'll do. You build it with radical transparency. Being the first one to flag a problem actually increases trust. It doesn't decrease it. And this last one is so important. You prioritize competence over charisma. In B2B, consistently delivering results is the fastest way to earn real respect. Okay, next you have to avoid the single point of failure trap. This is where your entire relationship depends on one friendly contact you have. A stakeholder map is essential. You need to know who your decision maker is. They care about ROI. You need your champion. They're your biggest internal fan. Then there's the influencer, maybe the head of IT security who can kill a deal at the last minute. And of course, the blocker, who just sees you as a threat. You need a completely different strategy for each one of these people.
All right, once you've got the trust and you have a map of the key players, you need structure. This is where relationship governance comes in. The best way to think about it is like the operating system for your collaboration. It brings predictability and formality, and it moves you away from all those chaotic, ad hoc emails.
This OS has three basic layers. The operational layer is the daily and weekly execution with your frontline staff. The tactical layer is for those monthly or quarterly reviews with department heads. And finally, the strategic layer is the high-level alignment with the C-suite. This structure makes sure the partnership is managed at every single level, not just through that one point of contact.
A core tool in this OS is something called a Joint Success Plan, or a JSP. Now, this is crucial. This is not your plan for the client. It is a shared document that outlines the client's goals and how you're going to achieve them together. This creates mutual accountability. All of a sudden, success becomes a shared responsibility.
Now, for the final and, honestly, the most critical element of this whole thing, we have to remember that corporations don't make decisions, people do. Behind every spreadsheet and every contract is a human being with their own ambitions, their own fears, their own anxieties. This is the shift from B to B to what I like to call H to H, human to human.
Think of it this way. Your technical expertise, your IQ, that's what gets you in the door. But it's your emotional intelligence, your EQ, that is what keeps you in the room. And that's the difference between simply hearing a client's problem and truly understanding the emotional subtext behind their frustration.
This is all about managing the power dynamics. You have to adopt a peer mindset. This means having the confidence to sometimes challenge a client's thinking or offer some counterintuitive advice. You're a consultant, not a subordinate. Believe me, executives respect partners who protect them from their own bad ideas.
And what happens when things go wrong? Because, let's be honest, they will. Well, there's this fascinating thing called the service recovery paradox. It means a client often thinks more highly of you after you've successfully fixed a major problem. The key is using a framework like LEAP. You listen, you empathize, you apologize professionally, and then you partner on the fix. You solve both the practical problem and the emotional pain, and you turn a crisis into an even deeper bond.
So let's bring this all together. I'm going to challenge you to take your top 5 clients and honestly plot them on that value chain we talked about. How many are truly strategic, and how many are just one competitor away from becoming disposable? The answer to that question? Well, that's your roadmap for the work that begins today.